Good morning, all of you. Now, today we will start from the Gauss law. Previously, we discussed about the D, that is what the electric flux density. Okay. Now, in the Gauss law, this is the name of scientist Gauss, and he has given some law. So, what is this law that we are going to discuss today? Now, in this law, what is the initial thing? The electric flux passing through any closed surface. This is what define a closed surface. So the electric flux is passing through closed surface is equal to the total charge enclosed by that surface. So this is what any random surface in that the charge is there. So the charge Q is there, and whatever the flux is enclosed, the electric flux, that is what electric flux, we know that the line of forces of the electric charge. Okay, so the electric flux passing through any closed surface equals to the total charge enclosed by that surface. So this is what the statement, the charge is enclosed Q, and whatever the flux passing through this entire closed surface is equals to the charge enclosed. Okay, psi equals to Q. This is what the statement, and this we are going to prove it here. Now, what is the further? Now, in this, that we are considering this charge Q is a positive charge. This is what our assumption, and enclosed by a closed surface of any shape. So this is what the random shape I have considered here. So this charge Q is enclosed by a random shape. Okay, what is next? Consider the differential element of the surface, that is ds and d. Now what is that? Every time for proving any concept, we start from the small surface. So for this enclosed surface, whatever this green color surface I have mentioned, so this is what ds. Okay, so this is the small surface. Okay, now in this small surface, you will have the ds, that is what this is what for this surface ds, and this is what the ds normal. Now what is next? So this d, whatever this d makes the angle of theta with ds. This is what the surface, this is what the ds, and this is normal. So normal means, suppose this is the surface, and it is the normal to this particular surface. This is what normal to this particular surface. Okay, now if you will consider this ds, this way is the ds. So the angle, suppose this is what the normal and this is what the ds. So whatever the angle between the ds and the normal, this angle is what the theta. So the theta is the angle. Okay, now what here we have to represent that ds, whatever this small surface, is a vector quantity, because the normal is there to this. So this is the surface area ds into an. An is the normal, whatever the normal is there. Okay, now the flux crossing through ds, whatever the small surface ds is there, so what will be the flux cross through that particular surface ds? So here the surface ds, small ds is the small ds is the flux passing through that small surface. Now what is that? Flux crossing through ds is equals to d dot ds. D is what? Electric flux density d, and a dot product with the ds. Ds is what? The surface, what small surface is there. So this way flux passing the density into surface, flux density into surface, that can be calculated here. So we'll go further. Thus the total flux crossing through the closed surface. Okay, so the total flux crossing through the closed surface is how much is the this you can take a integration. The psi is nothing but the flux, and total psi can be, you can take a integration over the surface. Okay, Now the psi equals to, this is what, closed surface integral. S suffix is the surface integral of d dot ds. So this is what the surface integral. Now we will go. So consider a positive charge, that is Q. Okay. So we are considering a positive charge. Consider a positive charge, that is the Q, situated at the center of a sphere having radius r. Now here you have considered this charge and it is at the center of the sphere. Okay. Now what next? So the total flux passing through a sphere is psi. Okay. So the psi equals to surface integral of d dot ds. Okay. So d dot d is flux density, ds is the surface area. So it is d dot ds. Okay. A point charge is situated at the center and the flux density is. So this is situated at the center and the flux density can be calculated as. So if you will consider a point charge, so D equals to, we know the formula for the point charge, D equals to Q upon 4 pi R square AR. This is what the formula we derived first. Okay. And the differential area on the spherical surface is, now ds, how we can calculate ds on the spherical surface, that also we have derived previously. Okay, so this ds equals to r square. Okay, so this ds equals to r square sine theta d phi ar, as the ds is the surface vector. Okay, the surface can be calculated by this formula. Why? Because we have assumed that this is the sphere. So spherical coordinate system we are considering. So sine theta d phi dr. If you want to know that how we got this, please refer to the previous video of the coordinate system. So you will come to know from where we have derived the formula. Now we'll go further. Hence the psi, now it is the what surface we are considered, the closed surface is the sphere. And what will be the limit? We are putting the limit. So we know the limit for theta is 0 to pi and limit for phi angle is 0 to 2 pi.
रवि कुमार दिख रहा है क्या कहीं को?
These are the limits are there, 0 to pi and 0 to 2 pi. Okay. Now these limits can be Q upon 4 pi R square AR. What is this? This we come from the d dot ds. So this is what, nothing but your d, and ds is r square sine theta d phi AR. Okay. Now if I will take a dot product of AR into AR, anybody can say me dot product of the same vector, what will be there? AX dot AX or AR dot AR or AY dot AY. What will be the result? Anyone can answer? The dot product of the same vector, that is AR dot AR, will be the 1. Okay, AX into AX will be 1. Vector A into vector A is 1. Okay, so if you will have the dot product of the same vector, unit vector, it is the unit vector, so that will be 1. So dot product of AR into AR, it will be 1. Okay, so remaining quantity you can put, that is Q upon 4 pi AR 4 pi R square will get cancelled here. Sine theta d phi dr, d theta d phi. AR will not be there because AR dot AR is 1. R square get cancelled. We know the limit of theta for the sphere is 0 to pi and limit of phi again 0 to 2 pi. Again, if you want to know that why we have taken limit for theta is 0 to pi, and for phi, why we have taken that 0 to 2 pi, again you can refer the previous video for the coordinate system, and in that we have derived the spherical coordinate system that we have discussed. So you will get the answer for it. Now just do the integration of sine theta is minus cos theta, put the limit, theta limit is 0 to pi, so put the limit 0 to pi, and d phi, it will be phi, limit you can put 0 to 2 pi, So it is q upon 4 pi. If you will solve this, so it will become what? It will become minus cos theta. Okay. So this will become the minus cos theta. 1 minute. So okay, now here the limit, what the limit we have put, so the limit is put up here. So the resultant of this minus cos theta, limit of 0 to pi is 2. You know that the cos pi and cos 0, what will be the things? So it becomes to 2, that is 1 minus 1. Okay, so it becomes 2, and 2 pi minus 0, so here it becomes 2 pi. So 2 pi into 2, so it becomes 4 pi. 4 pi, 4 pi will get nullified. So answer is q. So psi equals to q, hence we have proved here. So psi equals to q. So we have q equals to psi. Here it's proved. Q, as we discuss here, the charge is the volume charge. It is enclosed in the cube. Okay, sorry, in the sphere. So Q equals to volume charge density. That is Q equals to rho v dv, integral, volume integral of rho v dv. Volume integral means triple integral. So I can say psi equals to, that is rho v dv, and it is nothing but the integral form. The psi, instead of psi, I can write psi equals to surface integral of d dot ds equals to rho v dv. So this is nothing but the integral form of the Gauss law. So this is what psi equals to q is, the basic Gauss law. This is the integral form of the Gauss law. So this is what d dot ds, that is the surface integral, equals to volume integral of rho v dv. Okay, this is the Gauss law. Now we'll go for the numerical, as usual we are going. So what is here? A uniform line charge of 3 microcoulomb per meter. Line charge is there. 3 microcoulomb per meter lies along the axis. Okay, which axis? X-axis. What flux cross the spherical surface centered at origin with radius 3 meters? So what is there? A spherical surface, the sphere is there, and inside a sphere a line charge is there. And what will be the line charge? Line charge value is given 3 microcoulomb per meter. Sphere radius is given 3 meters. How to solve this? Okay, so the length of a line charge enclosed within the sphere is equals to, so the radius is given 3 and diameter is the radius into 2. So your diameter will be 6 meter. Now the line charge is there passing through the center of a sphere. So the charge enclosed will be Q equals to rho L into the L. So what is rho L? So rho L is given, that is 3 into 10 to the power minus 6 into 6 meter. So your Q will be 18 microcoulomb. Okay. So what will the Q? That will be the 18 microcoulomb is the charge. And what, according to the Gauss law, what we have? We have calculated the charge enclosed according to Gauss law, psi equals to Q, and it is nothing but the 18 microcoulomb. So this is simple example, simple numerical based on the Gauss law. Okay. So this may ask in the objective questions also. Okay. Now we will go further. We'll consider the another example. What it is there? A point charge Q is at the origin of a sphere. Okay. The spherical coordinate system. Okay. Find the flux which cross the portion of a spherical shell. The spherical shell is in a different way. So it is not the complete sphere. It is the sphere this way. This type of problem we have solved in the Cartesian coordinate system, in the spherical coordinate system, to calculate the surface area and all this thing. So same type of problem we are using here for the different reason. What here? The find the flux which cross the portion of the spherical shell which is described as alpha to beta. So what is this alpha and beta? This is angle theta. So theta is ranging from alpha to beta. This is what first part. And second part is what is the result if alpha equals to 0 and beta equals to pi by 2. So alpha equals to 0 means it start at here, and beta equals to pi by 2 means it start here. So it will be the hemisphere, that is the half sphere. Okay. So these are the two sub questions. So we'll go one by one. We know that how to do that. So the given surface is not the closed surface. We can use integration that method to determine the flux crossing to that particular surface. If we know D at the surface, and if the surface can describe mathematically, we can find the flux. Means what? If we can define the surface mathematically, how can define? We have this psi equals to surface integral of d dot ds. Okay, so we know that the flux density due to point Q at the origin, suppose this is the point charge, at the origin Q equals to the D equals to Q upon 4 pi r square AR. This is what the point charge, okay, due to point charge. And for the given surface, which is a part of a sphere, so as this is the part of the sphere, ds, as initially we have considered, that ds equals to r square sine theta d theta d phi ar. This is nothing but the ds. So what formula we have? We have psi equals to surface integral of d dot ds. We can put a limit, okay, as we did. So you can put a limit, that is q upon 4 pi epsilon 0 r square ar. This is what the formula for ds, formula for d. And ds, we have the spherical coordinate system. So r square sine theta d phi ar. Okay, so we can take a double integration. Here you can put a limit 0 to 2 pi. Now why 0 to 2 pi limit is put? Because the sphere is there, and sphere, this ring is complete, that is the angle phi. Okay, angle phi is 2 pi, and theta is given alpha to beta. Now you just solve this integration, that's it. Initially we have discussed ar dot ar equals to 1, r square will get cancelled. So q upon 4 pi, you take it outside and take the integration 0 to 2 pi alpha to beta sine theta d phi. You can separate it out. If you will separate it out, integration of sine theta, that will be the cos. So that is cos beta. So this is minus cos. So that is cos alpha minus cos beta. This will be the integration of this. And this is 2 pi. You can put integration of d phi is phi. So it becomes 2 pi. So 2 pi, 4 pi, it becomes q by 2. So cos alpha minus cos beta. So this is the answer for the first sub question, that is psi equals to q by 2 into cos alpha minus cos beta. First answer. You just mention, if this same problem is asked, you just mention this as the first answer. Second sub question, what it is given? Alpha equals to 0 and beta equals to pi by 2. So alpha equals to 0 and beta equals to pi by 2. What will be the answer? So you put the value of alpha and beta. So cos 0, you know, cos pi by 2, you know. So this is what it becomes 1, whatever the answer you will get. So psi equals to q by 2. So here we can say in the half sphere, as if the limit is pi by 2 for the theta, so it is the half sphere. So for the hemisphere, so for the half sphere, it is q by 2. If we will take the full sphere, instead of this beta equals to pi by 2, if we will take here pi, you will get psi equals to q for the complete sphere. This is what the simple numerical. So it may come in the exam. All of you, please be ready with the understanding. Is there any question? You can ask, otherwise I will go further. Okay. Now the next topic I am going to discuss, this is what point form of the Gauss law. So the Gauss law is in the point form. So this is what the base for the Maxwell's equation. Okay, so this derivation may ask in the exam, that is derive the point form of the Gauss law. So how the Gauss law is in the point form? So this can be explained. So point form, what is the point form of the Gauss law? What is here? So what is a charge Q is enclosed in this enclosure. So it is maybe the parallelepiped or maybe the cube. It looks like a cube, but it may not be. Okay, so del Q is the small charge enclosed in the cube. Okay, with the edges along the x-axis, dx, del x, del y, del z. Okay, so this is what the cube having along the x-axis, along the y-axis, and along the z-axis. So it is spread. Okay, then del q. So the charge enclosed del q equals to rho v into del v. So as it is the cube, so it is simply the multiplication of three edges. So that is del x into del y into del z. Okay, so this is what the simple concept. And the flux density. So flux density D equals to it is along the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So dx ax, dy ay, dz az. So simple Cartesian coordinate system we are using for this derivation. It is very simple. It is simply the addition, but steps only you have to remember so that you can do it in your exam. This is point form of the Gauss law. Now, how it can be done? We are starting with this. So that is what psi equals to surface integral of d dot ds. Okay, psi equals to d dot ds. It is nothing but like Q enclosed. Okay, so this is what the statement of the Gauss law. So for a small volume, if you will consider a small volume, so for a small volume, so we are considering del. So del psi equals to surface integral of d dot ds equals to del q, which is enclosed. So this statement we are using, and we are going to derive for this particular shape. So how it will be there? Now here we can have this ds. Okay, so now we will go for this the point form of the Gauss law. So surface integral d dot ds, how it can be calculated? So this is d dot ds. Now this is the parallelepiped. So you can have the back surface plus front surface. D dot ds, the whatever the flux passing through the front surface and the back surface, the left surface, the right surface, the bottom surface, and the top surface. So there are 6 surfaces: back, front, left, right, bottom, top. So these surface, if you will calculate the d dot ds of all these surfaces, so you will get the d dot ds, because it is not a spherical surface. So it is somewhat different. So how we can calculate it? So here we'll go further. So the flux density, once you will understand for the one axis, the flux density, that is the dx, in the direction along the x-axis. So this is direction along the x-axis. So this is what the dx. So the normal outward component of d at the back face is minus dx. Now, as we'll consider the positive charge, and if we'll consider that they are going outside, okay, so the direction what I have shown here, the inward direction, here direction is the outward direction, but actually it should be outward direction, because positive charge is there, it will go in all the direction, it will emit in all the direction, okay, of the shape. As I shown the inward direction, so this dx I should take minus dx. Okay, so this dx at the backward face, it will be the minus dx, because I am showing it is inward for the reference. Okay, then I'll go further. If the field charge, that is if the field charge between the back and front face, the field whatever it goes from here to here and it change. Okay, if the field change, whatever the field charge, it change when it go from back to front, this is what the derivational assumption. So it will change. So how it will change? It should have some reference. So the change in D in the x direction is how this change can be considered. This is what partial differentiation we can say. So that is partial differentiation of dx, as this is the component, and along the x-axis it is traveling, so partial differentiation of dx with reference to x. So dabba by x dx, this is what the partial differentiation of dx along the x-axis. Okay, this I have taken. But the total charge in D between back and front, the space is, what is the space from here to here it goes. So that complete space, I'll say this is the delta x. Along the x-axis it is there. So this is, I'll say, the whatever the distance from here to here, so that is delta x. Okay, along the x-axis. So multiplied by del x, as it is traveling from here to here. So this is what del x. So what is the total charge? That is the dx plus the charge in the D from back to the front. Okay, so what will be the charge emitting? That is ds plus the change. What is the change will be there? So this is dx plus partial differentiation of dx with reference to x into del x. You just remember this. If you understand this, same thing we are repeating for all the 6 phases. Whatever the 3 times we are doing this. Okay. So this is what from the front. So what will be the total? Simultaneously, the normal component of D at the left side is this minus dy, right side is dy. Okay, just wait. So this will be the, you can say, the change. Okay, similar thing it will happen as I told that for the other surfaces. Similarly, the normal component of D at the left side face. So this is what the left side face, as it is entering, as I saw that it is the positive charge, so it will emit outside, so the direction is opposite, so that's why I taken minus dy. And the right side again, it travels along the, what is this axis? This is y axis. So partial differentiation dy plus, you will take a partial differentiation of dy, a partial differentiation of dy with reference to del y. Okay, so this is dy plus partial differentiation of dabba by dabba y into dy. And what will be the distance from this left to right? This distance along the y-axis, this is the del y. So I had taken the del y. And bottom and top. So again bottom I had taken dz. So as it is entering, so I had taken minus dz, because as I told multiple times, the charge is going outside. It is centrally located. So the dz will be the minus dz. And top face, this is what dz plus again the partial differentiation of dz along the z-axis. So dabba by dabba z dz, and the length along the z-axis is dz, del z. Okay, so this way you will get for all. Now you just do the addition. What at each of these flux density is a normal to the respective phase. So the flux at the perpendicular phase, that is the flux equals to flux density into the area of the phase. So what area we can take? So the outward flux of D over the back face. Okay, so over the back face, that is the minus dx into back face. So the back face you can say dx, and you can multiply the surface. So what is the surface? So this is along the dx. So this is the along the y-axis. So this surface, the back surface, it is z-axis and x-axis. Okay, this is z-axis and this is the x-axis. So delta y into delta z. Same the front for front face. What is the front face? What we got? That is the front face. We have, this is dx plus dx into dabba by dabba x into dx, and the remaining will be the x component del x and to del z. Same thing. The left face, okay, so sorry, this is for the back and front. This is for the front. So again, you can say the left face, that is minus dy, and it is along the del x and del y, del x and del z. So it will be del x and del z. Right face, you can take this right face, that is the dy plus partial differentiation of dy with reference to y del x. This we have taken and into the surface. So this is what surface, that is the x axis. So this is del x into del z. Again, bottom surface, so this is what the bottom. So bottom is along the z axis, so remaining component will get, that is the del x del y. So simple to remember, you can say what is this dz, what are the remaining, this is perpendicular to dz. So what will be the face surface remaining two edges, that is x and y. So del x into del y. Here again it is along the z axis, so del x into del y. So this is what your entire total you can say. Now you can add all these. So if you will add del psi equals to this is what all these three, top, bottom, the left, right, front and back. So all these three we have taken. So everywhere we can say the volume, that is the del x, del y, del z. So that is the common. And here dx plus minus it gets 0, dy plus minus it gets 0, dz plus minus it gets 0. So partial differentiation of dx along the x-axis, partial differentiation of dy along the y-axis, partial differentiation of dz along the z-axis. So it is there into volume. So this is nothing but the volume. Okay. So this is what the del psi. So what we have to do then? So from the Gauss law, we know that the total electric flux over the surface of a volume is equals to the charge included. So this is what nothing. The del psi is the surface integral d dot ds is given by this into volume. So this is nothing but what? Rho v. This is nothing but what? Rho v, partial differentiation of d with respect to volume. This is rho v and del v. Okay. So what we can equate from this? This is what? This rho v del v. So this we got. So we can have dividing by the both side. Okay. So you can divide both sides by volume, that is the del v, and taking limit that del v approaches to 0. So divide it by the volume and you just approach that it, the volume reduces to 0. It is limit tends to 0. We get the divergence of d. So it is what we have taken there. So limit of rho v, del v, it tends to 0 and d dot ds upon volume. Okay. So this is nothing but called the divergence of d. Okay. This is nothing but the divergence of d. And by doing this, volume will go, and what is this? Rho v. So divergence of d equals to rho v. Okay. So we got this point. So this is nothing but divergence of d means del dot d equals to rho v. This is what the point form of the Gauss law. Okay. Del dot d equals to rho v. It is also taken as the Maxwell's equation for the static field. So del dot d equals to rho v. This is what for the closed surface. Okay. If the charge free region means the volume charge, if the volume charge is 0, there is no charge, then del dot d equals to 0. If the region is charge free, means that in the region inside there is no charge, so here del dot d equals to 0. So this is from the Gauss law. Okay. So this is this is what the divergence theorem. This is also called the divergence theorem. What? From the Gauss law here, d dot ds, if you will take the integral form, this is the surface integral A we are equating with the volume integral. Okay. So surface integral d dot ds equals to volume integral of rho v dv. So this volume integral and surface integral we are equating, that is d dot ds equals to rho v dv. So here is the volume integral. But point form of the Gauss law is del dot d equals to rho v. Okay. So this is what del dot d equals to rho v. Hence that you will have the surface integral d dot ds equals to volume integral of, you can say, del dot d rho v. Okay. So del dot d rho v. So this is what the relation is called divergence theorem. Sometimes you may ask, what is the divergence theorem? Explain with reference to Gauss law. So what Gauss law says, d dot ds equals to rho v. But point form of Gauss law says del dot d equals to rho v. Hence, we can have d dot ds, that is what the surface integral equals to, you can put instead of rho v, you can put divergence of d. So d dot ds surface d dot ds equals to, you can take the divergence of d. Del dot d is nothing but the divergence of d in terms of the volume integral. So surface integral, volume integral is equated by the divergence. So this relation is also called the divergence theorem. So this is about the Gauss law. If you have any doubt, you can ask, or we'll go further. Do you have any doubt? Okay, so we'll start.